Today I want to show you John 1:18, the reading the only begotten God or the only begotten Son who is God, and how the earliest manuscripts are not always the best. So we have different translations. I'll show you one of them, the New American Bible. No one has ever seen God. The only Son, God, who is at the Father's side, has revealed him. The footnote to this in the NABRE Revised Edition says, while the vast majority of later textual witnesses have another reading, so they would show the Son, the only one, or the only Son, the translation above follows the best and earliest manuscripts, monogenes theos, but takes the first term to mean not just only one, but to include a filial relationship with the Father, as at Luke 9:38, only child, or Hebrews 11:17, only son, and as translated at John 1:14. The Logos is thus only Son and God, but not Father/God. Now, the reason I'm showing you this footnote is to show the different translations and different understandings and the problems orthodoxy, that is the Catholic Protestant tradition, which promotes the three-in-one God, or also known as the Holy Trinity, how it's through the century or millennia now, this early reading has been problematic even for them, because many Orthodox people don't really know what an only begotten God would be. Begetting in the Bible, in reference to human beings, obviously means a procreation or a coming into being. So how can you have an only begotten God? That's why the later manuscript tradition reflects the reading of the Son instead of Theos, God. So here's a table from Jesus as God, a book by Dr. Murray Harris. So you can just take a snapshot of that if you want. And starting from the left, you see variant, the textual critics, commentators, and so on. So this is a useful table because it also shows the various manuscript traditions. So at the top there on the left, under variant, you have O monogenes. Below it, O monogenes Eos, the only begotten Son. O monogenes Theos, monogenes Theos without the article, and so on. Now, the earliest may be biased as well. According to Dr. McGrath, in his book, The Only True God, page 65, he says, the attestation of two early Alexandrian papyrus of the gospel known as P66 and P75 is frequently given more weight than it deserves. P75 gives a reading which is generally accepted to be inferior, and in a few instances shows signs of conscious additions or alterations having been made. Also significant is the agreement of these two manuscripts in omitting the word God in John 5:44, which almost all scholars agree was part of the original text. It may be the case that the scribes who copied these manuscripts had difficulty referring to the Father as the only God. There are thus indications that the copyists of these manuscripts had a particular theological view, which their transcription reflects. And this quote from the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament, in John 1:18, the reading monogenes Theos can only mean an only begotten God. To render an only begotten one who is God is an exegetical invention. it can hardly be credited of John, the apostle, who's distinguished by monumental simplicity of expression. An only begotten God corresponds to the weakening of monotheism in Gnosticism. It derives from this and came into the Egyptian texts by way of its influence on the theology of Alexandria.